President Xi Jinping, right? You know that Xi is very famous now. Before he become president, I don't know who is him. I never heard this name before. Xi. Before 2013, he became president of 2013. Before that, I never heard this name before. Most 99% of the Chinese people do not know these people before he became president. How could he work for people?
She is not a Chinese.
He is a Chinese thing, but he is not known before he became president. No one elect him. In China, the power is not coming from the people. The power is not coming from God. The power is only come from force. So that's why Chinese armed force is loyalty to the party directly. They never also a word said I'm loyalty to the China. They said I'm loyalty to the party. You know, that is brutal. It's very brutal. You know, you have no choice. You know, senior officers of the Communist Party, they have the 1 billion, 2 billion US dollar, billion, even much more richer than Jack Ma. Almost the people says mostly richest people in China is Jack Ma. It's a stupid, you know, Jack Ma is house arrested every day. Undercover policeman is follow his family every day. House arrested every day. He do not have any freedom of the movement. They do not have any freedom of the movement. He cannot care about the money because he have no opportunity to spend money. They have no opportunity to go to shopping mall. They have no opportunity to buy the food by themselves. All the food is supplied by the undercover policeman. An undercover policeman can poison him at any time if he sees something against the Communist Party. He do not have any. Even he is more terribly than normal people. It's normal people. I can travel globally. I can go to the UK. I can go to the Switzerland. I can go to the Europe. But Jack Ma cannot. He cannot. You know, richest people in China is most terrible people in China. He has house arrested. His children was house arrested. His wife was house arrested. His relatives are house arrested. There is no rich people in China. Everything is under control of the undercover policeman. That is a police state. So even at the beginning, you have the start up.
Is there no middle class, upper class in China?
Normal class, middle class.
Middle and upper.
Yeah, they have the middle class, but most of the middle class, they have the 1 or 2 million pounds debt. That, you know, they force the people, they cheat people, scamming people, you know. China still have the communist constitution. Everything is public ownership. But the government force the normal people. Yeah, they still have the communist constitution.
It is a constitution.
But
China. It is communist.
Privately owned companies.
yeah. But you know, they force the people, normal people, to buy the apartment, buy the house. 40 years before, all Chinese people, they in the queue to get a free apartment, free house. But now, they never give you the free apartment or accommodation anymore. Because this is why we give them free. We should let them earn the money for us. They should buy the house. So they force the people to buy the house. But when you get the certificate, they said your house is belong to government. You spend 1 million, 2 million RMB. In the small city, it's 1 million, 2 million RMB. But in the big city, I live in Beijing. My friend live in Shanghai. You should spend 1 million or 2 million pounds to buy an apartment. It's not house, flat. 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom flat. And when you get certificate from the government, the certificate says here,
Same here.
it's the same. You have the private property here. Why you buy the public ownership
You buy a
land?
flat, you're talking about flats and apartments.
Oh, you know,
Leasehold.
Yeah, there's leaseholds, which is a certain.
why you buy leasehold? Why you buy leasehold? There is a private land. You buy the private. You buy from the private property. You know, in China, is you do not have any choice to buy the private property. You do not have the private property. There's constitution side. Every land, every inch land is public ownership. After 70 years leasing agreement, you must pay again. You must pay again. That's just a cheat. That's a scamming. There's no. Here you have the private land. You can buy from private land. Why you buy the public ownership? Why you buy from the council? Why you buy from the council? You can buy from the private.
Buy a house, it's freehold. You buy an apartment, it's leasehold.
Yes, in China, even buy everything is a public ownership. Everything is a leasing. Even buy the house is leasing. Because of there is a 1.4 billion people living in China. They have not too much land to build a house. They have to build a flat because the people have no enough land to build a house for every family. So they have to build the apartment, build the flat. So that's why it's popular because there's no land. Yeah, have to, you know. Yeah, we want to buy the house, but the house is very expensive. And also, even you buy the house, you get certificate is even less time. For the house is a 50 years lease. For the apartment is 17 years lease. You buy the house, but the house was owned by the government. They cheat. They scamming your money. And most middle class, you talk about middle class, most middle class, they do not have the cash to pay 1 billion, 2 billion pounds. They have to borrow money from the bank. The bank belongs to the government as well. So you borrow money from bank and pay money to government. You pay twice. You have to pay mortgage every month. So you pay twice.
It's just like that here.
You pay twice, but you earn nothing. You earn nothing. You have your certificate that says this property belongs to government. How stupid! When you get your certificate, you say that how ridiculous.
What would you have to
How
pay?
stupid! I buy this one.
What would you have to pay after 70 years?
You should pay again.
No, what? Will you have, I mean, it's not buying it again. What do you have to pay?
What you should pay? What that means?
Say the property was worth 1 million.
Yeah.
At the end of the 70 years, you paid for the property, you say you've got to pay again. What do you have to pay? Not a million, the same as buying it.
No, you should be pay more. You know, when you buy 70 years before, that's very cheap. After 70 years, there's a more increase a lot of the price. Maybe you pay 10 million. After 70 years, you pay 10 million. You know, real estate market, they will increase every day. And the inflations, you know, the money increase the value, the decrease the value, the money decrease value. After 70 years leasing agreement finished, you pay more. It's not 1 million anymore, it's 5 million, even 10 million more.
That doesn't make sense.
That makes sense because that's the government use public ownership land to scamming your money.
Yeah, but you
To
will be
force
after
you.
70 years, you will be very old. You can't make money to die, to pay.
So that's why they destroy your house, let you go. You become homeless again. You know, you become homeless. Yeah, you know, this as land is
That's horrifying thing.
the land is belong to the government. They have the right let you live. Because all the land is honored by the government. They have the right, even you have a 17 years lease agreement, they ask you go. They pay a little compensation, a little money, compensation, let you go, let you move.
Move to where?
Whatever, they give you a little money. You can buy your house, you can rent your house, you can rent your apartment, whatever. They don't care. They send a policeman to let you go. How can you survive? Some people against the policeman, they was killed. They was poisoned and killed. Even old people, even children was killed. They was killed.
Where do you come from?
I come from Beijing. I experienced a lot of things, so I tell you truth. I tell you my experience. I tell you my experience. It's not my story. Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening? Some people, the government, what did they do?
The government puts the innocent people, normal people, into the prison, and the made in China products, most of products was made in prisons.
No, but-
They never pay the wage. They never pay the salary to the prisoner.
No, but-
They give that's why cheap. Because of cheap, they're made in prison.
Well, some people's society is okay with that because they're prisoners.
What did they do? What did they do for the government to put in prison? They have to do something. Isn't it?
Yes, we need help. We need the weapon. We need the help from the democracy and freedom world. We need to
what did you do?
make the revolutions.
What did you do for them to put in prison? What did you do?
You should do some things for your life. You should boycott made in China products.
No way.
They will destroy your life.
No, but China is the best.
They
now.
will destroy your life. They already destroy your industry. They will destroy your manufacturing capability.
Why is China the best?
They will
They're making
destroy
the best of everything now.
Huh? The best of
everything.
They're making the best car, the best.
No, they're not.
What's made in prison is best. Yes, no one in the prison can make 40 or make the big problem. Yeah.
I see them on YouTube. They're making a jumping car. You can jump the car. The technology is very good.
Technology is very good.
Why do we need
that's a
technology though? Why do we
propaganda.
need all this technology?
That's a propaganda. You know, in China we cannot see YouTube.
Happy to be happy.
In China we do not have the Google. We do not have YouTube. We cannot see the YouTube in China. That's a far worse.
China has its own version of
That is a propaganda. That is a
Yeah,
cheating for you.
but that's not good though, is it?
You know, I tell you that.
Do we have Weibo
You have no
here?
choice by
Sorry?
the mask
Do we have
from
Weibo
China.
Do we have
Weibo.
Weibo? What's Weibo?
Ah,
That is cheating.
that's what they
That's propaganda.
Yeah, but do you know what that is? Do you know
Yes, I
what?
know what it is. What I'm saying is,
No, but in China you're not
why
allowed.
should we
that
have
they sell
Weibo here? So why should we have YouTube
No,
over
you
there?
No, you don't get it.
No,
You-
we can't.
The reason they
They
have
use the
Weibo
cheap products
is because
to
they're not
destroy
allowed to
your
have
industry.
freedom of
Destroy,
internet.
become the
Weibo.
monopoly, and then
Because
it
that's
will
their
become
version
very
of
expensive.
their-
You cannot
Look,
afford
in this
it
country,
anymore.
You're saying that
look,
they
look,
should
cannot
let me
afford
explain
it
to you.
anymore.
Do you know why they have
Everyone
Weibo?
is do
Do you
this.
know why they have
This
Weibo?
is sim games.
Why do they have
They're
Weibo?
simple games.
That's clear.
Simple
But
games.
why? Why do
They
they have
will,
Weibo?
they will use the cheap products to
No, you
destroy
don't get
and
it. Why you
occupy
don't-
whole
So what can
market.
people
And
over
they will increase the price.
Listen,
I know
What can
listen,
people
listen,
over here
listen.
do
No,
to
no, no,
help?
no, no.
Oil
Let me
court,
explain that.
oil
Listen,
oil
What's
court.
your
Have
idea
we
of
got Weibo
boycotting?
here?
Look, you don't
Made your
understand. Let me
own
explain to you
clothes.
why.
Made your
Imagine in
own
England,
phones. Made
Imagine in England, we want allowed internet, they would have to make something for us.
That's
We'll
your
have to
that's
make
your
a Weibo
government
for
make
us.
the big
But the whole
mistake.
world uses
I tell you
YouTube.
that.
The whole world uses
I tell you. I tell you. You
The whole
must
world
made in
uses
China.
these things. It's
Must.
a worldwide, it's called World Wide
Yeah,
Web.
yeah, yeah.
Theirs, they're not
Yes.
allowed to use it. So
But
they
why
have to
you
give
have
them
the
a
half million
specific
die
one for
in the
themselves.
global pandemic?
They're not allowed to use it.
Why? In
You
China,
know in
there's
China,
no one die.
you know in China, you're not allowed to use the internet.
The
The internet that we have,
the coronavirus, no one died.
heavily restricted. It's just the
I
internet.
know why. I
But
can
you
tell
tell
you
on
why.
TV that people.
But what I'm saying
Why
to
do
you,
you, why is
That's
it not
fake.
allowed? It's oppression.
I
man.
live in China for 40 years. I know thousands of the people. No one of my friend, no one of my relatives will
Can I say
die.
about-
Even
can I
from
You
the
don't
hospital.
have
From the coronavirus. So what they was showing you, I think that it was lying.
So you can imagine. Use your imagination. Why you have the made in China the Chinese mask and make your people die?
No one died.
They want you. They want to kill you.
in China, you can't watch the
So you don't like the Chinese? You don't like
they, They want you to live.
I don't like dictatorship.
They're good. They're good though.
They're good. They're good.
I can watch Arabic.
Then why? I live in China 40 years. I say they're not good. You never been in China. You say it's good. Yes, you should say it's good or not for the Chinese people. It's not you. You say some propaganda from YouTube. You say it's good.
So what's
You have the 7 million people die across the whole world, and you say that's good. That's not good. They kill you.
That's what they show on YouTube.
Would there ever be change in China then? Because whatever
You must
dislike we have for China.
you must get the Communist Party for. Communist Party for is only way save you alive.
That's why you like China.
Save you alive. Save your children. Your children, your grandchildren. You become slave of the Communist Party. You never have the freedom of the speech anymore. You don't have the freedom of the movement anymore. In China, 1.4 billion people, they are slaves for the government. They do not have the freedom of speech. They do not have the freedom of the publication. They do not have the freedom of the movement. Even a lot of people was house arrested. House arrested. And a lot of normal people, innocent people were put into the prison. They become the slave of the government. They made your cheap products. Yes, that's not fair. That's not fair. You buy cheap products today. In the future, you will pay more price. You as slave, you as children and grandchildren will become slave of the Communist Party. Yes.
Imagine in China, if you say
Hong Kong. I'm not coming from Hong Kong. I come from the Beijing. I come from Communist Party. So I want change, political change, political reform in China. That's not good. You say it's good. That's not good.
I agree with China's way more.
No, but why they tell us what they show us on TV?
I'd rather be less restricted than
Of course, they say some things. Of course, if I make TV advertisements, I say I'm good. Yeah. Xi Jinping. No, it's not good, man. Kill a lot of people. They kill millions of people. Xi Jinping never say, I kill millions of people in the TV. They never say, I kill millions of people in the YouTube.
Kill them for what?
I'm not stupid to do that.
Why did he kill them? What did he kill them for?
There are a lot of the reasons that normal people was killed by the policeman because they want to make the Communist Party on the power forever.
How many people would you say is in leadership in that party? Because if you're saying there's how many billions of people, what's happened to the power of the people?
1.4 billion people live in China. But 100 million people is a member of the Communist Party.
Okay, what's only 100 million? You got 900.
Only few thousand of the people is the senior officers of the Communist Party. They are very rich. They have the 1 billion, 2 billion US dollars in the bank account, in the UK bank account, in Switzerland bank account. They never care about earn a little money from your pocket.
What kind of 900 billion? What the 900 million people?
900 million people is normal party members.
What can they do?
How many people control in the Communist Party?
Few thousands of people. Few thousands of people.
The power of the Communist Party. How many people? Like 10 people? How many in the party control China?
Thousands, I tell you, few thousands of the people, but this normal, on the surface, 7 people control of them, but those 7 people is actors. These actors, the people have the real powers, never go to the surface, never go to the table. there is a very complicated in China. The political system is very
So from what you
complicated.
said, it's about 150 million.
100 million. 100 million. They are base of the Communist Party member. They are former member of the Communist Party. But there is a 1.4 billion people living in China. 1.4 billion. 100 million people is only 3%, 7% of the whole population.
Talking about the billion people, because the billion people have they got this level of dislike.
You know, those people was brainwashed from the young, very young, 6 years old. They was brainwashed. 20 years brainwashed every day. They have the unconditional obey and unconditional loyalty to the party.
So let me ask you this: if the rest of the population,
That is a very bad
if
thing.
the rest of the population boycott made in China, what happens to those billion people? Because the crisis is still the crisis that's going on in China in regards to poverty, movement, food, there's a variety of stuff going on there. So if the rest of the population decides, as in the world population, decides to boycott made in China,
Those ones, the 90% of the Chinese population, they cannot make decision by themselves. They was brainwashed every day, and they do not have independent thinking. They do not like me to make public speech, make my whole own political opinion. I have my own political opinion. Those people, if you have any political opinion by yourself, you will be arrested and put into prison.
but that's all right. Death we must.
No, few months. Once you go to the prison, they never let you go outside.
That's all right. Death we must.
That's
China,
human.
as the 1 billion not got hot, have they not got death we must? We have to die. We have to die.
Don't go to work.
Those people was brainwashed since 6 years old,
Now you're in
5
prison.
years old. Yeah, if you live in the mainland of China, it's like prison. It's already like prison. No matter you stay in the prison or not.
So do you feel if we boycott, if the population of the 8 billion, sorry boss, if the population of the 8 billion of the world boycott China, made in China, what happens to those 1 billion people?
You know, most of the made in China was sold to the Europe, sold to the United States. Those people do not boycott made in China. Chinese people cannot boycott made in China. How can they survive? Everything is made in
I'm
China.
talking about the rest of the population, but the rest of the world, do we not need China in regards to...
Yes, you do not need China. You do not need China. You do not need Communist Party's products. You do not need. Because you give up your industry, you give up your manufacturing capability. You think you get cheap products from China. That this one destroy your life, destroy, undermining your democracy and freedom.
That's when power
The thing is,
judicial
in China,
system against
the workers that made the mobile phone,
get in trouble.
you can maybe get wages for £50 a week, innit? In England, if the factory was here, they would have
The
to pay
fact
their
they
bill.
do not give you 50 pounds per week. They give you nothing. They put you into the prison. Your phone is made in prison. Do you understand me? They do not give you 50 pounds per week. Okay.
But you know-
you think
but
they
you know-
give you 50 pounds a
you know-
week?
what
Okay.
you know-
You want to make a joke. Your clothes and your phone is made in prison.
But you say...
How can you give? I give you 50 pounds a week in prison. How can you spend your money? How can you spend your money? Where you go to the shopping mall? There is no shopping mall in the prison. There is no money, no woman, nothing. Yes.
You talk... So you talk of this, though.
Yeah.
Is this not a world issue when it comes to government, when it comes to these systems that they've created, prison,
Yes.
keeping us as people? Is this not a world problem?
That's a world problem. That's a capitalism problem. You know.
What's he arguing about?
Is this a capitalist country?
What's that?
Is the United Kingdom
Yes.
a capitalist country?
Yes, it's capitalism.
Okay.
Yeah, capitalism. But the capitalist, you think, you purchase, you pursue the more profit,
Boycott
but
made
you
in China.
make big
Boycott
mistake,
made in China.
strategical mistake.
Trying to support
You
China.
make big
Boycott
strategical
made in
mistake.
China. Anything.
He's not supporting China.
You buy products
from
from
China.
China that
Yeah.
But
make
he's saying
your life
in China
dangerous.
they're oppressed.
Make your
They are
life
oppressed.
dangerous.
People are oppressed.
I tell you that already. You have
My-
7
my
million
question
people
is, yeah,
die in the
my
global
question
pandemic.
is-
Why is it dangerous for products to be made in China?
That's very dangerous because they will destroy your industry. You do not have any manufacturing
How about,
capability.
no, but how about...
Yeah,
wait,
that's
hold on.
already happened.
No, but hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, there's tariffs in place though now.
I don't
There's
know.
tariffs in
But the
place that
tariff
prevent that.
is better for your life.
Yeah, of course, I know, I agree with that. And secondly, you need to understand, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, a lot of the Chinese population were in poverty. Then the CCP came into control, and progressively the middle class started
you
to
that
increase.
China,
Wait, hold on,
China
hold on, hold on, hold
is
on,
the
hold on,
biggest,
hold on, hold on,
largest economy
hold
for
on,
the
hold
thousands
on.
of the years.
Hold on, hold on.
And China
I
is the
understand that.
largest,
I understand
strongest
that. I understand
empire
that.
for the
I
thousands of
understand
years.
that. But the
But
literacy
no,
rate.
today, China
If you're gonna shout
successful
over me, there's
is
no
just
point.
back to
Hey,
the
listen, if
historic
you're gonna shout,
normal.
if you're gonna shout,
There's nothing to do with the CCP.
listen, if you're gonna stand on there
CCP.
and shout over me, there's no
CCP
point. I'll tell you
have
right now.
nothing-
We're not gonna get anywhere.
Nothing to do with CCP. You
How's
know,
it- how's it nothing to
China
do with
is successful.
CCP?
They are rich because they have the big territory, 10 million square kilometers territory.
So why weren't they successful
1.4
beforehand?
billion.
Why weren't they
1.4
successful
billion.
beforehand then?
I tell you that every country they have the historical cycle. Okay, before the Communist Party they take over, that is the low point of the Chinese history. This doesn't mean the communists is coming from the UK. That's made by German. Made by German.
What do you mean by German?
Karl Marx is a German.
Yeah, I
Karl
understand.
Marx.
I know Karl
So
Marx. I know Karl
Chinese
Marx is
Communist
German.
Party, they are coming from outside of China.
Okay.
Outside of China, they are never. The Communist Party do not smoke this one. I have the problem with my songs. Okay.
But Karl Marx is against the system that they have here, isn't it? He's against capitalism. Karl
I
Marx.
tell you that Chinese civilization, Chinese culture never have the socialists, never have the communists. Communists and Chinese communists
Nah, you
and
guys do well.
socialists
You guys
make
do well.
disaster for Chinese people.
Why?
There is 18
Why?
million people
Why though? Why?
starved. 18 million people was starved to death in the 1960 to 1963. Starved to death.
Okay.
Under the Communist Party's ruling.
Yes.
There is the 50 million.
How about the
was
how about the
illegal
current
killing.
administration though? How about the
Are you
current
a Muslim?
administration?
Are you a Muslim?
Doesn't matter what I am.
There is the 3 million
It doesn't
young,
matter what I
3
am.
million Uyghur
Doesn't matter
Muslim
what I am
people
right now.
was put into the concentration
I don't
camp
think that's right.
and they
I don't think
are
that's right.
forced to labor to work for the government.
I don't think that's right.
And later, if they will harvest your organs.
But listen,
take your
I'm not
kidney,
supporting that. I'm
take
not supporting
your
that.
heart,
I'm not supporting
take
that
your
though.
lands
What
to
I'm
give
saying
the
to you
rich
is,
people.
what I'm saying to you is,
That is a policeman
China's
secret business.
China's GDP and the number of people who have entered the middle class has grown significantly during this current
I tell you
political
that
regime.
China is the
That's what I'm
largest
saying to
economy
you.
in this world for thousands of years. Han Dynasty, Song Dynasty, even Yuan Empire is the largest empire in the whole world. They occupy whole Euro,
So
Asia
why were your
continental.
people why were your
Chinese
people
is
no but why
always,
were your people
no matter who
in poverty?
imagine
Why were your people in
managing
poverty in the
the people?
1970s before this communist regime? That's currently
Communist regime took
no.
power in 1949.
Yes.
It's now 70.
Yes, yes.
So from 1949 to 1980, the people was starved dice. 18 million put to starve to dice.
Yes.
50 million was illegal killing by the cultural revolutions, by the senior officers of the Communist Party. They never treat people like whole humans. They treat people like animals, like this one. Yeah, they treat people like
Let me
animals.
ask you a question. What alternative do you have for the Chinese
What's your
people?
solution?
What's your solution?
What's the solution?
Provide a
You,
solution. Because
you
right
should
now,
boycott your made in China products.
Okay.
allow it,
Buy
allow it, allow it,
Yes.
allow it, allow it, allow it. We can't afford to boycott China.
Look at all the LV beanies. You
We
think they're real?
rely on China. The whole world relies on China. It's too late.
Today,
You should have given this speech 20
today,
years ago.
you'll pay less.
I'm not
Tomorrow
saying
you
that,
will
bro,
pay more.
but we rely on the
Tomorrow
supply chain
you'll
too much
pay
now.
your
It's too
life,
much.
pay your
I have
freedom,
a handmade
pay
bag,
your
guys.
democracy. Your children and your grandchildren will become slave of the Communist Party. Communist Party, they are very rich. Senior officers of the Communist Party member,
That's what I'm saying.
they are
It's
very
African
rich.
house itself.
They do not care about earn a little money from your pocket. You buy made in China cheap products. Today, you are
What makes
financing
them rich
Communist
though? Are
Party.
they rich in China or they're rich
You
here?
will lose your freedom. You will lose your futures. Boycott made in China. That's for your children, for your grandchildren.
It's too. Hey, listen.
It's not.
I would love to
it's not
boycott
for you.
China. It's too far. It's too late. It's too late.
It's not too late.
It's too late. It's too late.
You're pushing a good message.
It's too late. I understand where you're coming from, and I actually think that you guys are under a dictatorship, yeah, and everything.
You know,
However, it's a bit too late.
you have no choice.
Too late, bro.
Make your choice.
Nah.
You have no choice by yourself.
It will cost us way
Make
too much.
your choice.
It will cost way too much
Hey,
in the short
it's
term.
not too late. You have to awareness. There is a 7 million people die in the global pandemic. Most of them is in the Western countries. United States have the 1 million, over 1 million people days. In this country, you have the 500,000 people days because you buy made in China mask. Because you buy made in China ventilator.
He's feeling the pain of like what we're doing in his company.
Yeah, I feel it. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I feel it.
Alibaba?
I know where it's coming from, and I feel it.
Alibaba
It's a
is bad.
violation. So I can't lie.
Yeah, Jack Ma was house arrested every day.
How about what's it called? TikTok.
Yeah, what about TikTok?
TikTok was banned in China.
But why?
Is it banned in China?
Oh,
Yes.
oh yeah, because Trump didn't
really?
want them to have access to it.
So you think it's good or bad?
Or TikTok?
Yes.
I don't think it's good. Really and
But
truly.
TikTok was banned in China. There is no TikTok in China. You know,
Do you,
anything,
let me
anything.
ask you one question. Do you think the CCP control TikTok?
Of course,
You think they do, yeah?
of course,
Okay.
of course, under control of the CCP.
Yes.
Everything. Your clothes made in prison. Your mask made in
Let me
prison.
ask you a question.
Your ventilator
Let me ask
was
you a
made
question.
in prison.
You know, with the
Yeah.
sorry, with the current administration right now, do you think China is gonna be the world leader? Because right now the USA is the world leader. Right now, I think we can accept the USA is the world leader. Do you think in 10 years' time it will be China? If we continue
Yeah.
with the current
I tell you
status
that
quo.
if Communist Party, China become the world leaders, all of your Muslim people,
Forget
your
Muslim, bro.
Muslim people will go to concentration camp. You know, the Communist Party
Forget
very dislike the Muslim people.
No, the
They're
Communist
the
Party.
main
Listen,
enemy.
bro.
Yeah.
No, hold on, sorry.
Really, yeah. If they come to the regime,
Let me tell you.
if the
You know Chinese people,
dictatorship-
they're very collectivist people. They're not individualistic culture. It's a collectivist culture. So everyone has to abide by the same norms, the same values, the same way of looking at
not
life.
means they become slave.
Yes, they
Not
do.
be-
They do.
not
They do.
mean they are
Naturally.
become slave. Okay.
Of course, naturally they do.
How to define a successful? Government ranks senior of Communist Party, senior officer of the Communist Party, very rich. That's a successful Communist Party have done already. But normal people, they are slave. Normal people very poor. That's a democracy and freedom. Even democracy and freedom cannot guarantee. Why? Because you do not have democracy and freedom is guaranteed. Democracy and freedom. Yes. China make announcements that 2027 they will take Taiwan by force.
Why do you say the Muslim companies is similar? Why do you say that?
No, similar. Muslim. Communist Party were
And
very,
similar?
they don't like Muslim very much. They will put you to the concentrate camp. Even they come to this country, they put the Muslim people come to the concentrate camp. It's very bad, you know. Uyghur people, you should know Uyghur people. In the Xinjiang, they arrest the young people.
How many people are there? How many is the population?
They have the 10 million people living in the Xinjiang and 3 million people living in the prison. So you know 30% of the young people, 30% of them is young people, 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, until 25 years old. They only arrest the young people because young people have the healthy organs. They sell your organs. Of course. Yes.
Yo, bro, what's this for?
You know when you speak, I lose my voice.
You're here to.
Yeah, I'm talking about the. Yeah. It's against the communists.
Against the CCP?
Yeah, against the CCP. Yeah, fuck CCP. You're right. Fuck CCP. CCP is killing your people.
Killing our people, killing your people, killing all the people.
All the people. Yeah.
Fuck the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. دول اللي قلت لك عليهم المكان تيانمن سكوير اسمها ايه؟ هوكس. Pure communism. مش عارف الأول.
Hello, my friend. Hello.
Communist Party.
No. I'm allergic for the vape. Hello. Hi, my friend. You make me very. I have asthma. Yeah. Vape. Made me lose my voice.
Tell us more. To learn you are. Well, we don't know nothing about China.
Yes, you see some propaganda in the YouTube. YouTube is the propaganda of the Communist Party. They make the beautiful voice. They make the beautiful videos.
But the people on the YouTube, they seem very happy. They say they're happy. Chinese people over there on YouTube, they say they're very happy.
Yes, all the YouTube video was made in by the Communist Party. Of course, they say they're happy because under the Communist Party ruling. I come from China. I see it's very terrible. Everyone in China very terrible. They are struggling. They are suffering a lot.
Is there a lot of homeless people there? People sleep on the street?
Homeless?
Yeah.
There is no homeless.
In China, no.
No.
That's good, then, isn't it?
Because I tell you that.
Look in England.
I tell you that.
No.
I tell you. There is no homeless because homeless people was arrested and poisoned and killed. They think that's trash. Trash.
It's true.
You understand?
They kill and imprison the homeless.
They kill the poor.
The homeless, they kill you.
Yes, because you are useless for the society. You are useless for the government. So you must be. You are trash. They think the homeless is not people.
No.
Homeless is animals.
Tiananmen Square.
Now, go to Trafalgar Square and you see about the people sleeping in tents in England.
If you become homeless, you have no right to live in China. You cannot survive. They can survive. It's good. They can live.
Somebody sleeping in the street.
They wish they could sleep in the street and try.
But the people on YouTube, they show the Chinese people very happy.
It's owned by the CCP. Nothing gets through except the CCP.
Recently, in America, they were comparing their price of food and accommodation on the YouTube between China and America. And the Chinese people were saying that they can afford to live, they can afford food, they can afford the rent, and the Americans were struggling. And the American was saying,
I tell tell you that every middle class of the Chinese people family, they have 1 or 2 million debt minus 1 million or 2 million because they were forced to buy a house in China, but the house actually belongs to the government. There is no private property in China. So those people live good because they owe a lot of money for the government. They are slaves of the government. Can they say I'm not happy? If they say I'm not happy, I'll be killed by the undercover policeman.
What about the businesses in China?
Of course,
Business is thriving in China.
there's no private business.
It's all public businesses. No private business.
Yeah, there is a startup.
Jack Ma is a private. Jack Ma.
Jack Ma was house arrested.
But he owns his own business. He's a big boss like Mark Zuckerberg.
They do not have any freedom of the free movement. House arrested, you understand house arrested. If you house arrested, you care about your money.
But he's smiling on TV. He's smiling. He's happy. I think
They're
They have the
employed by the
gun.
CCP.
They have the gun on your back. You smile. Yeah, I give you a TV and say, smiling. I give you the gun. Smiling. They have the 20 or even 30 undercover policemen
so
follow
Jack Ma-
him every day.
So Jack Ma is looking is on TV smiling, but he's looking at the barrel of a gun. That's what he's saying.
I'm telling you. I tell you that your mask is made in China. So you have the 500,000 people die here.
Because of the chemical.
I don't know. I cannot tell you the truth. I cannot tell you the details because I don't know.
So
This is very sensitive. I still have the family living in China. I cannot tell you.
So when you was in China during the pandemic, and you was there. When the pandemic, you was there.
Because you asked
And what happened?
I'm telling you what Politburo is.
Normal. Everything's normal.
Lockdown no place.
No lockup, no mask, no nothing.
What they was telling us.
That's the last year of the global pandemic. It become very strictly.
Politburo is a Chinese thing.
I tell you that everything was a show. Everything was in China is a show.
Tell him about the Tiananmen Square.
There is no people I know die even go to hospital because of the COVID-19.
What about the hospital
Everybody
bills
was
in China?
empty. There was empty. There was during the pandemic. No one. Everybody was empty. You say. No one died. No one died.
What about education and hospitals and stuff in China? Were they good or bad? Education in China and hospital bills.
Education is the brainwash.
They brainwash people.
The major purpose of the education is since 6 years old to 24 years old of the university graduation. That's the brainwash every people.
Make
So
them
that's
believe
why.
what?
That's why Chinese people they do not have any idea to against the Communist Party.
They
Because people was
brainwash them to
brainwashed
believe what?
since 6 years.
Yeah.
Unconditional loyalty to the party. Unconditional obey the instruction from the government. That's the first priority. Every children, every kids, when you go to the primary school, they tell you that unconditionally loyalty to the party. Unconditionally obey the government's instruction. Until he becomes an adult, 24 years, they brainwash 20 years, they are already foolish. They are already foolish. You understand?
Like when you see China is very advanced, a lot of technology, a lot of everything. So
How do you achieve that? Cheap labor. Forcing
China
people
today
to work.
successful.
Child labor.
China is successful.
A good example.
It's a normal, it's a historic normal. China is the largest economy for thousands of years. From Tang Dynasty, Song Dynasty, Yuan Dynasty, Ming Dynasty, Qing Dynasty, all is the largest economy in the world. And even Yuan Dynasty, Tang Dynasty, Ming Dynasty is the largest and is the strongest empire in this world. So China, the successful, China's advanced It's nothing to do with the CCP. It's nothing to do with the Communist Party. Chinese history, they do not have any Chinese civilization, Chinese culture, have nothing related with the communism and the socialism. So China as a rich, China as the largest economy, have nothing to do with communism. It's just normal. That's a historic normal. It's 1,000 years. So how can you demonstrate CCP make China successful? That's the Chinese people make the China successful.
Preach.
What they said 40 years ago, the people over there were living poverty.
Yeah, they propaganda. 40 years. 40 years before the 50 million people was illegal killed. Cultural revolution. They kill a lot of people on the street directly.
2 million people in 1949, 11 million people in 1989,
Tiananmen Square,
before that,
1989.
2006 in Hong Kong. The repression
A lot of people was
to this day, 2019 to
killed.
2025, 2 million people were
So
killed.
what's the solution? You want to be the prime? You want to be the president of China?
There is no president. It's a communist party of 10 people.
Your solution is boycott made in China products. Make your own choice. Make your own clothes. Make your own classes. You must survive. You must make your industry survive.
What is it? What you want to achieve? You want to be the leader one day of China.
I want to bring democracy and freedom to China.
So you want to be the leader one.
Yeah.
You want to be the
Yeah, of course.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's very ambitious. You want to be the boss. You want to be the boss of China.
Okay.
Some people want